Good morning and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. This is our daily get-together live here on Facebook every day of the week, 10:30 in the morning, where we examine headlines, comments, questions, topics, ideas, suggestions, proposals, wedding anniversaries, activities to enjoy, all kinds of things to have a better life here in Puerto Vallarta for those of us that are part of the English-speaking community and that call this place home. For locals, this is a place for us to get together and feel proud of living here or feel frustrated about the things that go on in our city and hopeful for better things, and where we share all kinds of good vibes to just enjoy our time here. And of course, it is Friday. It is the beginning of the weekend, so it is a great day to celebrate on this Friday, March 12th.
Thank God it's
Yes. Warm coffee. I love it. Still warm because, the weather is getting warmer, and soon enough we'll be going back to our spring-summer routine of drinking iced coffee instead. It is always a pleasure to get together with you, and if this is the first time that you're joining us, please let us know by writing the word new in your comment. That way we will do a little dance and welcome you to the cluster. Let's see who's here. Well, Lori wants to be a local. Lori, what is keeping you from being a local? Let us know. Let us know. What can we do to localize you? Of course, we're always happy to help to the extent that we can. It is great to see all of you. It is great to see David, who's joining us. Lisa is here. So nice to see you. Judy is joining us from Brisas del Pacifico. Listen to me, Brisas del Pacifico. Oh dear. Well, that town in Canada is in the house. Saskatchewan. There you go. Saskatchewan's in the house. It is great to see you, Cindy. And it is great to see Diane in Bucerias. And it is great to see Angelo in Amapas. What a great name. Angelo Sanasardo. Oof, oof, oof. Let's go get some bread, Angelo Sanasardo. Let's see who else is here. Lynn, it's always a pleasure to see you. ¿Qué onda, Alan? What's going on? Mushi says that she has been shopping and getting organized for the past week. Of course, Mushi just arrived in town. Mushi, tell us what has been your biggest hurdle so far, and maybe we can help you alleviate it. But please make sure that you add a little cue at the beginning of your reply, because that's how we look for comments that are important. If you have something important to say, everybody or anybody, it helps a lot if you add a cue at the beginning of your comment, because we can easily find them, or more easily find them. That's what I'm trying to say. And Logan was humming that Friday song. Good for you. I think that's a lovely thing. Daylight savings time changed for some this weekend, not in Mexico, so we don't have to worry about that. Yay. Let's see what else. Ooh, sexy. Gary is working out. I hope he's getting sweaty. Yummy. Let's see. Whitby, Ontario is in the house by way of Liz. Paco blushes like a schoolgirl because we're going to go get bread, Angelo and I, and he's going to bring the butter. How slippery. I love it. Okay, Paco, stop it. Let's see what else. Claude says that I remind a little bit of Romper Room when I say hello to everybody. Well, you know why? Because I was a Romper Room child, believe it or not. When I was a kid living in Monterrey, my aunt Conchita Adalid was the hostess of Romper Room, and we had Mr. Yes and Mr. No, which in Spanish we're called Mr. Sipi, Señor Sipi, and Señor Nopi. And I was a Romper Room kid, so maybe that's where I get it from. Roll call. Roll call. Anyhow, we have tons of news today. Let's see what else is going on. We have tons of. Excuse my what? Saskatchewan is not a little town. It is a province in Canada. Paco fails his geography. Well, don't hold it against me. I bet you don't know the capital of the state of Tamaulipas. So there. Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay, so we have a lot of news. It is Friday, 75. Liza Minnelli. Oh my God, that's a long time to live. Well, happy birthday, Liza Minnelli. You know, how fun it would be to roast her. Well, not roast her, but I mean, when we used to do those birthday tributes, to do a tribute to Liza Minnelli. What fun would that be? I love it. I love it. And the capital of Tamaulipas is Tampico, Diane. I don't expect you to know that, and that's okay. You don't expect me to know whether Saskatchewan is the province of somewhere or if it's just a sound effect for somebody sneezing. Let's see. Okay, so I'm just rambling, and that's because I'm happy because oh, my name was never called out. Good morning, Claude. It's great to see you. It's great to see all of you, and it's great that today is Friday. I don't know why, because in reality, every day is just like the previous day. But, you know, you are looking forward to Pride this year in PV. Oh, boy, that is a loaded topic. I'm not going to go there. No. Let's see what else. Okay, no. Let's go. Let's go because I'm rambling and there's 143 of you that want to hear something useful, not me just rambling around. So, boom, let's go to the headlines. So, between this long weekend that begins today and the upcoming Semana Santa, an increase in tourism is expected to be felt starting today throughout Puerto Vallarta and the entire bay for that matter. I say, eye candy, come to me. This is just a friendly reminder to those looking forward to enjoy our city during the following weeks. Please keep in mind that during Semana Santa, nightlife shuts down at 11 o'clock in the evening and the beaches close at 5 p.m. And as long as we're talking about that, let's see what's next. Boom. Yes, of course. Speaking of beach closing hours, Bahía de Banderas has just announced that for both Semana Santa and Semana de Pascua, beaches will open from 5 to 6 p.m. and hotels will be able to operate at 50% of their total capacity. So, in contrast with the state of Jalisco, which has been unclear as to whether the beach guidelines will extend beyond Semana Santa, Nayarit has announced that they are extending theirs for the length of the 2-week vacation period. So there you have it. If you're going to go to the beach, just be mindful of the fact that beach time ends at 6 p.m. in Nayarit. And speaking of Nayarit, while we're in talking about the state authorities have high expectations that a shift to green in the National COVID Spotlight Map will take place today. The state's health undersecretary did indicate in an interview that it is unfortunate that as the COVID-related numbers go down, the population seems to become more relaxed or perhaps too relaxed when it comes to following the sanitary guidelines. What are those guidelines? Well, we know them ever so well. We keep our face mask on. We keep a safe distance between other people. And, you know, we're out and about only when it's really necessary. and we wash our hands frequently. And nothing has changed, and this is all very easy to follow if you ask me. I have great news related to the Marietas Islands. It's hard to believe that the islands have been now closed to tourism for 5 years. And although I must say I wouldn't be surprised if a number of tour providers are sneaking to the islands here and there. But now, researchers from the local campus of the Guadalajara University have announced that the coral reefs surrounding the islands show a 22% recovery. This is great news. Between the restrictions imposed 5 years ago and those resulting from the pandemic, there is a notable increase in marine wildlife around the islands. Now, how is the university monitoring this? Well, approximately 400,000 pesos are required every year to execute ongoing inspections by way of 12 annual trips for divers to dive in and monitor the progress in this beautiful location that offers 130 species of fish, 12 of coral, 6 of urchins, and so forth, a home. That's where they live. And presently, this is made possible by an endowment provided by National Geographic. Unfortunately, state funds for these things disappeared. And of course, we know the Marietas Islands are renowned for that beach that is located under some kind of a hole. You can see it from above. And there are unconfirmed claims that that hole on the beach was created because of some experimental bombings that were carried on by the Mexican army a million years ago. But nobody seems to substantiate this. This is the beach that they call the Playa del Amor. And what else do we have? We have this from the Jalisco Secretary of Culture. The state Secretary of Culture has announced a 21 million peso fund destined to help reactivate the arts in our state. Yay! The arts community in Jalisco had been frowning because a lot of the funding had been removed to favor other things. But now we have 21 million pesos to spend. This money will be made available through a series of calls for submissions in different categories that will be announced between this month and June. There will be a total of 25 calls for submissions, 9 more than last year, designed to support scenic art projects, design, film, literature, orchestral compositions, among others. Anyone interested in this particular endeavor can consult a website that I will share with you in the show notes. So this is pretty much what we have for serious news. And while I clear my throat, I give you the evil laugh. Love that parrot. I think he's a perfect parrot for a Friday. Let me take a quick look at some of your comments. Oh my God, so many hearts coming in. That's so sweet. My goodness, there's a lot of hearts. Somebody's going heart crazy. I love it. Let me take a quick look at some of your comments. Let's see what we have. Carlos Papacito, good morning, baby. Let's see. Da da dee da 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 dee dee da. We've read that. Let's see. What do you mean your name was never said on Romper Room? You know, we are going to take care of all these psychological issues here, Kathleen. Anybody that needs to be called out and said good morning to, please just let me know, and I'll make everybody feel special. Why not? Let's see what else. Jerry, you want to know why it's a loaded topic? Pride. Oh dear. Okay. Pride is gay pride. Oh my God. Do we really want to go there? Shoot. Let's wait until the end of the program. I'll tell you that because I don't want to burden everybody with gay or LGBTQ specific information. And I'll be happy to give you my 2 cents on pride, Jerry, at the end of the broadcast or after, before we wrap it up. Let's see what else is going on. Fantastic news. I hope this has to do with the coral reef. I thought it was absolutely amazing. Yes, it is. Mother Earth is fantastic if we give her a chance to breathe. Uh, and yay, money for the arts is very important. Let's see. I'm glad you enjoyed the parrot, Rob. We keep that parrot, and we keep assorted parrots handy just for those special occasions. Deb says, say my name, Deb. Hello, Deb. Good morning, Deb. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, as Truman would say. Let's see what else. The name Michael was always said on Romper Room, no matter where you lived in the USA or at least. That's discrimination. I mean, I will say absolutely any name you want. But first, let us. Oh, Brenda says, I miss Luna. Well, so do I. Luna has gotten into this new routine in which mornings the cuddling takes place in the bedroom, and afternoons the cuddling takes place right here while I'm preparing the show notes for the next day or the news and so forth and so on. I would never want to just carry her and bring her because I like her to go about her own business at her own leisure. But if we all get a little bit of too much Luna withdrawal, we'll absolutely schlep her over and we'll take care of that. But first, let's go to the weather. Woo, here we are. It is 24 degrees, feels like 25. That would be 76 degrees Fahrenheit, and humidity is a low 38%. Snarky Weather says, the sun thinks he's so cool hanging up in that sky. Well, I'll show him. Well, I hope that Snarky Weather does not turn that into a reality. The weather forecast for today, clear through the day, high temperature of 30, low temperature of 18. Tomorrow, also clear, high temperature of 30, low 17. And Sunday, clear through the day. Oh, it gets a little cooler, high temperature 29 and low temperature 16. This is absolutely wonderful. Well, I do have a few more headlines that I wish to share with you because I do. I collect these things, as you know. This is an interesting one. It is fascinating to see that on a day like today, yes, on a day like today, in 1883, that would be 138 years ago, Don Sabino Viruete blessed the first stone used to build the Chapel of Las Peñas, which we now know as the parish of Our Lady of Guadalupe here in Puerto Vallarta. Since then, the church has become an icon for our city. And I was cueing the next photograph, an icon for our city, as I was saying, but that status of icon increased somewhat on October 9th of 1995, October 9, 1995, because we had a strong earthquake. And the earthquake was so strong that the church's crown collapsed. It was a 7.5 on the Richter scale, and it lasted for 1 minute and 15 seconds. This is a photo from that time. Those of us that have lived here long enough know that that the church crown was rebuilt. It was rebuilt of a lighter material in the past few years, in the past decade, and now the church is back to its original status. I also want to let you know, I took a quick dive into Facebook just to see what's going on in the city this weekend. I don't know what you're doing, but this particular event sounded truly interesting to me. This is a meditation with a hang drum. A hang drum is a metal, kind of turtle-shaped instrument that you bang your hands against, and it produces very relaxing sounds. It is a very unique instrument, one that we seldom see or hear here in Puerto Vallarta. And this particular event is going to take place at the Mystic Circle Cafe, and I will share with you all the details in the show notes should you want to attend. And of course, this is the weekend when water drag takes place. If you've been sleeping under a rock or maybe paying attention to other things or looking at whales, what do I know? Water drag is an annual benefit that consists of a beauty pageant in which straight men, heterosexual men, men that would never wear a dress, would never think of walking in heels or putting on their own makeup, compete against each other in a beauty pageant designed to raise funds for a good cause. And of course, this fabulous event always takes place at Teatro Vallarta, but due to the pandemic, the capacity of Teatro Vallarta is limited. So there are a number of venues that have been called upon so that you can enjoy the event remotely. So I know of at least 3 of these venues that are going to be broadcasting Water Drag. The first one is Act 2, but there's also a viewing of it that is going to take place at Casa Karma Private Villa. And there's going to be another one that is going to take place at Monson Brewing. So you have 3 different options of places other than the venue itself if you don't have tickets, so that you can enjoy the event this weekend. Before I share with you the final headline that I have, let me take a quick look at your comments. Let's see what we have. Let's see. Say my name. We've been there. Oh my goodness. What else do we have? You're having weather today that I am dreaming of. Oh, Karen. Well, we enjoy it while we can. It is starting to get warmer. I can feel it. I can feel it because, for example, today I have turned a fan on during the broadcast that is blowing fresh air between my legs. That sounds filthy, but it's blowing in this general direction. And it is always tricky because if I point a fan towards me and the air blowing gets into the microphone will start doing things. Like if I go, see, I can easily overload the microphone. So we don't want to do that. So I have a fan pointing at my legs, and it feels a little bit more refreshing than it was earlier. Sherry says, I love the pictures that Kathleen is posting of Todd in drag. It is absolutely hysterical. I love those too. And I am so proud of our Todd because he's going to be doing this particular event. Michael says, music as always. Yes, I had an eardrum this morning again. But I didn't prepare anything for it. But in case you're curious as to what was buzzing through my head this morning, it was a song from an old Rodgers and Hart musical called Sing for Your Supper. And if you don't know it, you can Google it. If you know it, it is a wonderful song that is performed by a trio of sopranos that have to sing in harmony and go in very high notes and in harmony, and it's very complicated and beautiful. Why I was thinking about this song beats the shit out of me, but that's what my brain gave me this morning. My last headline for you today is actually more of a headline for myself. I haven't read this article, but this is right up my alley. Read this if you're always on your phone before you go to sleep. Well, that would be me because I'm always on the iPad. I'm always on the iPhone, and sometimes I kind of fall asleep easily. Other days I don't. So I'm going to put that in the show notes so that you can enjoy it. Cesar has a question. My husband loves your podcast. Yay. So when we go for my birthday weekend on the last week of April, can we have dinner? Going for 9 days. Oh, Cesar, I never plan ahead. If we cross paths, it would be lovely to meet you. That would be great. And I'm so very happy to know that you are coming for your birthday weekend. Let us know where you're coming from. Let us know where you're watching from. And again, if we cross paths, it would be wonderful to meet you. I love running into people that watch the show on the street, and that happens quite frequently. So that'll be a lot of fun. Oh, what a great question. Oh my God, Mushi, you totally rock. Tasty dinner at Tuna Azul, but serious question. How to eat a tostada gracefully, it is impossible. It is impossible because you don't eat a tostada with a fork. You have all kinds of things on top of your crunchy tostada. So you lift the darn thing with your hand, and when you crunch, when you take a bite, you have to commend yourself to the Holy Spirits because your tostada will break, and all the chingaderas on top of the tostada will fall. It's inevitable. So there is not such a thing as eating a tostada gracefully. And if you want proof of that, next time I find myself in front of a tostada, I'll film myself making a mess. And I will make a mess because I always do. And maybe that'll make you feel better about yourself. Don't feel bad about being messy when you eat a tostada. It's part of the fun. What I do is, or what you may want to consider is, if you're eating a tostada and you are not at a fancy restaurant, because I would never do this at a fancy restaurant. I will, let's say if I am at a street corner and I'm eating a tostada, they're probably going to serve me a plastic plate covered with a plastic bag. So I bring the plate close to my face with one hand and bring the tostada close to my mouth with the other, and take a bite and say to myself, may the force be with you, Paco. But by keeping the plate close to my face, the tostada doesn't land on my shirt. And if people around me laugh or think that I'm messy, well, you're supposed to be messy. Thank you. That was an awesome question. Let's see. Once you bite a tostada, what you have left is a taco salad. And yes, that is true. That is true. Absolutely. Let's see. Eating tostadas is an experience, fun, and delicious. And I have to do a shameless plug for the tostadas that you can get, for example, at a place called Ocho Tostadas, which is a restaurant that we haven't visited just yet. And there is one near Versalles. So we should go to Ocho Tostadas in Versalles and add that restaurant to the Versalles for Foodies map. There's another great branch of Ocho Tostadas by the stadium near the Sheraton. And it is a great place to get messy. Sherry chimes in. Absolutely. The best Mexican foods are messy as are ribs. Totally there. Totally there. And part of the fun is just getting messy. So I suppose this brings us to the end of the broadcast. I'm going to linger a little longer because a couple of you asked me about gay pride, and I can tell you my very unpopular view on the whole situation. If anybody else wants to, oh goodness, Sheila Reed, listen to I Say a Little Prayer, Dionne Warwick singing. Someone has commented that the song was about a woman's husband who was fighting in the Vietnam War, and the song was a clever anti-Vietnamese war song. Fascinating. I've never really researched the lyrics that were written for that song before. I always focused on the meter of the music. And if meter of the music sounds complicated, maybe that's something that we should do one of these Monday Music Mondays. Anyhow, let me very quickly say thank you to the vast majority. Anybody that wants to stick around for gay gossip, feel free to do so. And for the rest of you, go ahead and have a great day. And whoomp, we're done. Okay. Gay pride in Puerto Vallarta has become a loaded issue because, well, I think it's worthy to do a little bit of history of what gay pride has been, or at least how I've experienced it. Gay pride, when I was growing up in Boston, or during my 20s and 30s in Boston, was a huge, fabulous event that involved all kinds of daytime and nighttime events. Some of them were party events, some of them were cultural, some of them were conferences, some of them were lectures, some of them were crafty. And pride in Puerto Vallarta has become more of a nighttime thing. There used to be a pride parade, but of course we don't have pride parades during the pandemic. Last year, pride became a bit controversial because the pride committee announced that they were going to have pride, and pride committee is not it's not an inclusive organization in a way that you can actually apply to. It's a complicated thing because pride in Puerto Vallarta is handled by a very small group of business owners surrounding Mantamar. Mantamar and a couple of the night venues are the ones that that have just recently made an announcement that Pride is going to take place. The challenging thing is that in doing this announcement, there is never, earlier today we were talking about a call for submissions um, for acquiring state funds. That is a kind of a civilized way to get people involved in something. Well, here in Puerto Vallarta, unfortunately, um, there was no such call for submissions. There was no such announcement. Hey, we're starting to get organized. Come in, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of the small businesses complain that Pride is an organization that has hijacked an event to create profitable situations for a limited number of people. So this time of year, I'm starting to read things like, well, there they go again, the big clubs, and they're making their own thing, and they're not including the local business, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How horrible, blee, 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 blah, blah, blah. But, and then there's something else. Last year, somebody started a virtual Pride to not compete, but to complement. And virtual Pride was very successful to the extent that you can be successful during the pandemic. Virtual Pride organized a series of live events that everybody was able to submit or participating in a schedule and so forth and so on. So the big event holders were like, well, wait a second, you can't be saying that you are doing Pride because we are Pride. And the small people said, well, wait a second, you can't be saying that you are Pride because you didn't invite us. So there's an issue of ownership here. Last year, again, there was the big Pride, or the queer Pride, or the nightlife party sex Pride, or whatever you want to call it, Pride. And then there was the virtual Pride. And virtual Pride was as successful as it was going to be, given the fact that it was organized with 2 weeks of anticipation. I was sad to see that most of the events were in English, which is another thing that ruffles my feather. And there's a lot of local Spanish-speaking people that say, well, Pride has become a gringo event. So we have the big people that are taking care of themselves, and they're organizing the big parties. And we have the little people that complain that, well, nobody included us, is one of the common complaints. And the other one is, well, everything is in English. That's the other common complaint. So the question is, in my mind, is, the big Pride organizers, Mantamar and company, are taking care of themselves. They want to make money just like anybody else. The little people, and by little, I don't mean to demean anybody, the small businesses that are complaining that they're not included are the same businesses that last year, after the event, said, well, we're going to get together and we're going to get organized and so forth and so on. Did they get organized? No. They were busy taking care of themselves just like anybody else, and that's neither good nor bad. That's just the way it is, So, and the people that keep complaining that the event is mostly in English, did they do anything about it? No, they didn't do anything about it. So, again, on the one hand, you can think that the big organizers are the bad guys, but are they? I mean, they're simply taking care of themselves. I think when the small or the local business community decides to invest the time, the energy, and the resources to take over Pride and give our city a more inclusive, more dynamic, more bicultural, more cultural experience, then it will happen. In the meantime, there's a saying in Spanish, el que se fue a la villa, perdió su silla. And that means if you step up from your chair, you're going to lose it. So, to the big event organizers, kudos for taking care of yourselves. Would it be nice if you were inclusive? Yes, but I wouldn't hold it against you, because the small group of people are letting you do whatever you want. To the small group of people, I would say, hey guys, stop complaining. You had a whole year to change things. You had a whole year to contact the organization, to change the board of directors, to get involved, to do this, that, and the other. To the virtual pride organizers, I say, great that it's happening again. Please remember that the local language is Spanish. Please reach out and make the virtual pride as inclusive and as wonderful and as dynamic as possible. So that's why I think that Pride is a loaded event. My personal take is that it is unfortunate that it is not more inclusive, and that that it is the way it is. So hopefully, the small business community will do something about it, because I seriously doubt that the big businesses are simply going to hand over the event on a silver platter. And why would they? And that is my 2 cents on Pride. Let me take a look at some of your comments and see what this is about. Is Sweat Drag selling tickets for remote viewing? I have no idea, Kathy. That's why I'm going to share the places that are showing the event on the show notes so that you can do your own little homework. Was not PV the first vacation city that accepted gays, thus increased the population? I doubt that, Diane. I am sure that gay community was thriving in Acapulco and other beach destinations before Puerto Vallarta became big. But Puerto Vallarta is, for better or known, or worse, known as a gay destination, as the most popular gay destination in the country. Anyone know what kind of vaccine will be arriving next week? No idea. Heather chimes in. My feeling is that Pride has been hijacked here by a few, taking the true meaning out of it. Well, Heather, until and unless the people that feel hijacked do something about it, I don't see why it's going to change. No longer community celebration, more of a huge moneymaker. It's too bad, Claude, that it cannot be both. Let's see what else. Might there ever be another gay parade? We saw this parade several years ago, the last time it was put on, and it was fabulous. Well, it was fabulous, Sherry, but I mean, then we have to throw COVID into the mix. You know, Pride is in May, and we know what the circumstances are. We are certainly not in a place or time where big parties, big gatherings, or parades can take place. So even if you remove the equation of the big organizers versus the small organizers, is it safe to have Pride this year? I wonder if anybody is asking that question. There's a group, and Paul is involved in doing virtual Pride again this year. Last year, there were around 40 presentations, everything from shows, et cetera, et cetera. That is true. I was part of that group. This year, I am not going to participate because, for better or worse, well, for starters, my business is not a gay business. I mean, we are very queer here at Coffee and Headlines, but bottom line, I'm gay, but this is not a gay business. This is an everyone business. So, and I have to take good care of you, and that's my primary concern. So I will personally not be participating. And I'm glad to hear, Paul, that you are a part of this group. I hope I'm not being disrespectful by saying that I know that you have a lot on your plate, and I'm saying this publicly. And I hope that you get involved in such a way that you can help empower other people, particularly some of the younger people. I mean, where's Jet de la Isla in all of this? Jet is one of the young leaders. Jet is among the younger generation of business owners that can be thinking about taking over or nurturing this in a more inclusive way. And if there's going to be all kinds of things going on this year in Virtual Pride, hopefully they'll come up with a better schedule, one that is advertised properly, one that clearly defines the parameters of doing a live broadcast, because last year most of the presentations were pre-recorded, and that was okay for the first year, but hopefully it'll improve. And again, I hate to sound like a broken record, it has to be done in Spanish because of all the people here that speak Spanish. I mean, English and Spanish, that's what I mean. Double-edged sword, says Claude. Absolutely. Virtual Pride is back Thursday to Sunday with big push on recruiting, Spanish programming, and subtitling everything. Good for you. But again, I go back to the same thing. If you're doing a live, you can't subtitle. Subtitles happen automatically. So, I hope that the Virtual Pride Committee will be very clear as to whether the guidelines are for A, doing a live broadcast in whatever language you choose to do, and that's okay, or B, submitted a well-edited, pre-recorded, subtitled video, and that the balance between English and Spanish content is going to be even. Jerry, thank you very much for that perspective. It seems as pride is becoming that way all over. San Francisco and Oakland have the same issues. How sad. How sad. I mean, I remember Pride in Boston Commons, where there was this huge craft fair and there were outdoor concerts and the Gay Men's Chorus, we sang, and there was a march. There were all kinds of alternatives, film festivals, lectures, you name it. And there is so much richness in our community to make that happen. Let's see what else. You're welcome, Pat. The small businesses are working 5 times as much in order to survive with maybe 1/3 of the income they had before. You might think they should do more to organize and take back pride from the big guys, but where are the resources of time and money going to come from? That's a great question, Paul, and you know that better than I do. But I go back to the same thing, until and unless the large number of small businesses find a way to get together and counteract what the small number of powerful big businesses are doing, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think the shift is going to happen. Let's see what else is going on. I celebrate humanity. We need more of this. We need more coffee. Mine is getting cold. World Pride 2019 in New York had hosted 2 marches, the big one and the small one. Well, yeah, sometimes that's what it takes for it to happen. I think in Guadalajara there are 2 marches as well, or in Mexico City. Let's see. Last year, over half the presentations were pre-recorded. And, I personally had an issue with that because for the live broadcasts that we produced, I produced live broadcasts for myself. I did 5 broadcasts, 1 a week on top of doing Coffee and Headlines. And I produced live broadcasts for Paul and a couple of other people. And it was complicated, worthwhile, but complicated. So in a way, the people that just pre-recorded something and just delivered the thing, it was not live as it was announced. Let's see. What a nice thought. I have special fondness for Pride Festival since I met my wonderful husband at one. I hope your wonderful husband is helping you convalesce, Raymond. I hope you're feeling better. I really, really do. Let's see what else. Well, I think we're at the end of this. So that is my 2 cents on Pride. I'm sure that it's not going to be very popular. But again, to all the small businesses that are saying, well, we were not invited. Well, instead of thinking we were not invited, think about, well, how do I create my own party to invite other people? So if that new party is going to be the Virtual Pride, well, I hope that it is a beautiful, better organized, well-structured, nicely scheduled, inclusive, bilingual, dynamic, cultural event that can provide a wonderful contrast to the big parties. And I think we've reached the end of Coffee and Headlines today. If you stuck around, and I see that 111 of you are still here, I appreciate your company and I appreciate your comments. I know that this is a loaded, complicated subject for many. And I know that my opinion is not the only opinion out there. Opinions are good when they are diverse and when people bounce them back and forth. But that's it. That's what we have. I hope you guys have a great day today. I hope where's my button? There's my subtle button. I hope you stay kind. I hope you stay connected. I hope you stay involved, because again, to make these things evolve and change and improve, it takes involvement. So stay involved, stay kind, stay happy, stay hungry, And I'll see you tomorrow or whenever we cross paths again. Have a great day.